So, hey, everybody, welcome back to the Eat Local New York podcast. We're watching Chef, movie Chef. And for those of you who want to watch it along with us, we are on Hulu streaming it, and we are at 19, 20, 21, 22, and so forth. And say hello to my guest. Introduce yourself.
I'm Joe Cesari from Mojo's.
And Joe, you said this is your favorite movie?
This is my favorite movie of all time. This is what, I think helped me want to just travel and cook food.
That makes sense.
Everything about it. I'm also, my whole family is very musical, so all of the music in it was super inspiring.
It is a great soundtrack.
It's an insane soundtrack. All the old, hip hop samples.
Yep. Gary Clark Jr. makes a big appearance.
Dude, so good. They've got that Al Michaels Affair version of Cream on there.
Yep.
It's so good.
There's a lot of scenes I think that stand out to me from this movie. This is one of them, and then the other one is when he's making breakfast in his apartment or in his house with his son.
When he's making the grilled cheese,
Yeah.
that shit is so hot. What my favorite thing about the food scenes specifically is that you can never tell if it's his fingers or the chef's, because they know that you got who was it, Roy Choi, who did all of the food styling, and then he was the hands guy.
Yeah.
Which is
Was
so
he?
interesting. Yeah.
I didn't
and it's
know
all
that.
about him. The whole story is about what is this business called? Koji?
Yeah.
Dude.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. What is his name? John
Favreau.
Yeah. John Favreau was super inspired by his story and wrote a whole
That's
thing
interesting.
around it.
I know that Roy was huge in helping them get the show going, getting the movie going, and consulting on it and everything. I had no idea that this was based, off of his experiences.
Yeah, story. Which is why I think also they just continue to work together. They have that whole chef show now too.
Yeah.
It's literally just them talking to celebrities and shit.
Yeah.
I love it.
Do you watch all those?
I've watched a couple. Sometimes shit with food and celebrities just kind of annoys me.
Yeah.
Because it's just how much do you actually know, or do you just want to
Right.
seem like you really like food?
Yeah, for sure.
But it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I like the shit that they make on there.
Yeah. So I take it you probably didn't watch the Selena Gomez during quarantine, her cooking show.
No, but who was I just watching? Maddie Matheson. I love Maddie Matheson. And he was on her show recently, because I think she has another show now.
Okay.
And he actually really liked the experience, and he liked her.
Really?
I was like, okay,
mean,
maybe I have
that's-
to step back a little bit.
Yeah. I tried. I didn't even know that show existed until after COVID, and I tried to watch it, and I was like, I have a feeling if I saw this during quarantine, I would have been really into it.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, this is fucking stupid.
Oh man.
This is one of the scenes I really like, and even throughout the whole movie. But him at the farmer's market selecting produce.
He's so knowledgeable, and he just wants his son to be so healthy. It's also one of the funniest scenes. The timing.
Yeah.
Immediately to the crunch. It's so good. Damn, I miss the big old kettle corn at the, I was about to say that fair, at the farmer's market.
Oh, was there a vendor there?
I mean, this was I feel like when I was a kid. This was definitely years and years and years ago. I just remember going, my mom would bring me, and just first thing I would do was I would get a donut. I would get a cinnamon cider donut.
Yeah.
Those are the best at the market. And we get a big thing of kettle corn. And I don't know where those people went, but it was magical in my memory.
Yeah. That looks incredible to me.
Dude.
I was just in Rochester in the public market. Have you been out there?
No, but I really want to spend more time in Rochester.
Yes. Rochester has a food scene that is light years beyond Syracuse.
Really?
Yeah. And I mean, absolute light years beyond Syracuse. and not just in like their advanced food scene and the food, like the nicer food that people are making, but also I feel like in their like old school kind of shitty food also, they're like
Yes.
they have more depth than we do.
That's cool. And I know that the vegan scene out there is pretty awesome too.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger than Syracuse, right? So I got to ask you this question: why the fuck do you do vegan food? Because I've been told, and I don't know if I'm blowing your secret right now, but you're not vegan.
I'm not vegan. I'm 100% comfortably not vegan. I don't shy away from it. That's like, it's part of the shtick now. Like I make vegan food for everyone who wants to eat vegan food, but like I just want to make it accessible.
Yeah.
Vegan
Okay.
food is simply just good food. I make it specifically because of the fact that right out of high school, I moved to Orlando and lived with my sister and went to college out there. That's that's where I really gathered all of my food knowledge. Like my mom cooks, and I love food, but like I didn't really fall in love with like the craft of food until I was in Orlando.
Gotcha.
And for one, the vegan scene in Orlando is unlike anything I've seen ever. And like I've lived in LA, like I traveled to Philly a lot because my cousin lives out there. But like out of all the big cities, out of everything, Orlando just does it right.
That's
because
interesting.
they embrace fusion, they embrace flavor. It's so good. But no, like honestly, it was because of my sister. My sister's vegan.
Okay.
She's been vegan since she was like 11, 12 years old.
Huh.
And, you know, we would just have family meal
Yeah.
every night, just hanging out. And, like, if I cook, I'm not going to cook for myself. I'm going to cook for my family, you know? So I would just cook for her. And then I got used to it. And, like, honestly, cooking vegan is more fun. I don't love touching meat.
Yeah.
It's just not my fave.
Yeah.
So to admit that, and then also to, like, really hone in your craft and, like, make shit taste good.
Yeah.
You have to put a lot of effort in for vegan food. You know, like it is simple. You flavor shit just like you would meat, like a tofu or like fucking zucchini steak or something like that. But you just have to really, I don't know your shit.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's really fun to do that.
That's interesting. Yeah, you can't rely just heavily on I've got chicken or steak here and that's good enough.
Yeah, exactly. You have to kind of get creative, and that's mainly why I do it, because I love to fucking get creative, and it makes me think more and more.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
This is, I mean,
Seeing
Be
him,
pivotal. Yeah.
dude, seeing him for the first time just in this movie was wild.
Dustin Hoffman. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is interesting that like they got him to play this role.
Just everyone who they got in here, like seeing Scarlett Johansson for the first time, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't understand how. And then you realize, I mean, obviously he's Jon Favreau. He's got so much pull.
Right.
And this was around the time that he did his first Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
So that already.
Yeah,
you know.
this is 2014, 2013, I think it said, which is crazy that this movie is already 10 years old and that it still influences so much in the industry.
Dude, I know.
So I will say, I'll say this early. This is, I both love and hate this movie
So how come you hate it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You were about to say something earlier.
because I know that there are so many, like the untold amounts of people who have fallen victim to the dream of opening a restaurant because of this movie. And then there are so many of them. I mean, the numbers are like 90, what is it, like 90% of restaurants fail in the first like 1 or 2 years.
Yep.
And I will say that's starting to change a little bit in terms of like people opening up $1 million restaurants, but at least in our area. But, you know, there's so many people that like take out massive loans and open up restaurants and then fail so quickly. God. And then now like, you know, a big chunk of the rest of their life is like fucking paying that shit off.
Which is just terrifying. Which is why I will like not do a brick and mortar for as long as I humanly can.
Yeah.
I want to stay so far away from that.
Yeah.
The idea of it is so like it is fun and it's romantic and like this. What I like about this is that it does both. It does both inspire, because like again, it inspired me.
Right.
But like it inspires people to get into it. But then I like how there is less of an emphasis on straight up like owning a restaurant.
Right.
But to your point, it makes owning a food truck look easy, which
Yeah.
is like are certain parts that make it easier,
Right.
but like. Where is the scene where every day he's on the phone for an hour trying to contact the county clerk to try to get, his peddler's permit to
Yeah.
try to sell on the beach?
Right. Or the 4 hours going back to your commissary to wash dishes at the end of the event.
Oh God,
You know?
yeah. That is because like I've always wanted, again, the just romanticization of traveling in a food truck and cooking. That's so fun.
Yeah.
Where the hell is your commissary?
Right.
How do you do that?
Yeah, you don't, and which is I don't even know how the fuck people do that. Have you seen the Future food pop-ups? Have you heard about them?
No.
Oh
no,
my
no.
god.
Future Foods.
Future. So Future, but with a V.
Yeah.
It's a national company.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're based in LA. They've been coming in Syracuse for like the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
They set up at breweries pretty much exclusively, and we just had them at Harvey's Garden like a month ago. We're gonna have them back in like another month.
That's cool.
And they crush every fucking time when they show up at an event. It's vegan junk food pop-up.
But shit, they're stealing my shit.
But they are, and they're non-vegans that run it, so you're doubly fucked.
God damn it!
No, but so they show up. So
That's fucking sweet though.
they leave LA, or I think from what one of their employees told me, basically they've got like 5 teams that like leave LA in a Jeep, like an SUV, pulling a U-Haul that's just filled with all their shit.
Wow.
And they get to an area, they buy their food, and all right, everybody, we're pausing this for a second because I want to finish this thought, but this is the important part I want to talk to you about. All right, so...
and because this part is so good.
yeah. I'm going to rewind it back so Siri stops listening. All right, everybody, pause.
Whoa.
We're pausing it at 11:18. All right, so they just set out. They do vegan junk food. They fucking get a crowd. They get like 200-300 people.
Damn.
Maybe not. They
But,
used
I mean,
to,
still.
but so like 100 people at
Yeah.
Harvey's, I think, last time for it. And it's like going there last time. They just have a 10 by 10 tent, like a tabletop deep fryer, whatever the fuck they're doing to cooking. It was a hot fucking mess. Like it looks like the
Yeah, I can't
sloppiest,
imagine.
dirtiest shit you've ever seen in your life at the end of their shift. But yeah, they just travel the country with a U-Haul doing it.
That's what. So, and that sounds so fun. That's so wild that they are actually able to do that. I would love to know, just selfishly, the logistics to see how they're even able to do that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Unless it's just like some guerrilla shit.
It's just guerrilla shit.
Wow.
Yeah. So they've got a huge social media account, like Instagram account that's got tens of thousands of followers.
This is rude as hell, but I'm looking them up.
No, go for it. Actually, while you're looking them up, I'm gonna go grab a Labatt.
Gotcha.
And we'll just keep the podcast rolling. So what they'll do is their corporate account will message a brewery and they'll be like, hey, we're gonna be in the area. Do you want to do a pop-up? Here's the dates. Sure. They just do one spot in the city, while they're there, and then they go on to the next city. And
That's so awesome.
and it's 2 guys.
What,
you know?
It's called, it was Vulture?
Vuture.
Vuture.
Yeah, Vuture.
Wow. Yeah, Future Food. That's so awesome. Holy shit,
Yeah.
76K.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. They remind me of, there's this really awesome food truck out in LA, Lettuce Feast. Really, really awesome. Honestly, same vibe. Their food looks scarily similar, honestly.
Huh.
But it's just it's fries, fried chicken sandwiches.
Yeah.
They kill it. They are also a hot mess. I think almost half of the things that they posted, their pop-ups and whatever, they would cancel or just
That's crazy.
there's no gas in the truck. There's this, there's that. There's always something going on. But when they're popping, they're fucking popping.
That's crazy. All right, back to the movie, everybody. We're starting at 11, 19, 20, 21. All right, so food reviews coming out. I love this part.
I love this part. the emphasis on the review. He's like a dude who doesn't give a fuck.
Right.
The immediate vibe.
That's so rough.
It's so rough. I don't know what the fuck I would do if someone said that just about my food.
So this is the question. We're in Syracuse, New York. We don't have a food critic.
No, I mean, not really.
I mean, we've got, the Syracuse.com and the Post Standard, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but you don't really have a critic. You've got Charlie Miller, who I love, but he covers all new openings. Don covers like news, and when Kyle Mastro Pietro owes somebody money, he's like on it to write about that. And then you've got Jacob Pucci, who's back doing some freelance stuff. You have Jared Paventi, who does like the dining out reviews.
I feel like most of our like food blogging stuff is really just that. It's kind of just like blogging. It's a lot of sharing, which is like cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we don't have a straight up
Critic.
Yeah, even like I'm trying to think about like CNY magazine, because again, they're just like they're fun pieces to read, but they're
not critical.
No.
None of them. I mean, the people that are writing for CNY magazine don't really know what they're doing. They're just going for clicks, just trying to keep their magazine alive, which is also owned by Advanced Media. None of us Instagrammers do any sort of like critiques on anything,
Which I feel like is the Instagram thing of like positive vibes.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that? Would you like, as somebody who owns a business that sells food, would you want to see some sort of a critic in town?
100%. I would love to see a little bit more. And I mean, not criticism for like negativity's sake, but just like, I really want to know how someone feels. Like, it's not just like, oh, it was good, blah, 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 and like, oh, it had like ketchup mustard, and it was good because I had ketchup mustard. Like, nah, like, I don't know. How did you feel about it?
Yeah.
It's just compelling to hear what people, like, the history people have with the food that they're eating, and just like how it actually compares to everything, rather than just...
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Just some positive bullshit. I'm someone who like, I love criticism.
Yeah.
Even if my like Sicilian blood starts to get a little hot and I get a little defensive, like, I don't know. I just like, I want to know what someone thinks.
Yeah.
Also, this I think is my probably favorite like food scene.
Really?
Oh my God, dude. This pasta looks so fucking good. Also, to go from pasta to Scarlett Johansson it's just beauty.
I'm assuming the what they're trying to say is here that they fucked.
Oh, for
now
sure.
He's making the dinner afterwards, right?
For sure.
I mean, talk about like this, like the most sensual, frames of someone watching someone cook food. Than Scarlett Johansson seductively looking at the pasta
as he's plating it beautifully. I think it's right here. I think she takes the first bite and she like moans. That's all you have to know. That's all they give you, and it's just enough. Right? Bam. That's it. I fucking love it. I love that. That's also, I don't know, that's like one of the most beautiful things. I just learned when I was in Sicily that they have the same word. They use the same verb in Sicily to make the bed and to set the table.
Huh, that's interesting.
We learned that because our retreat host was complaining about how just Sicilians are bad at communication, this and that. And they're like, yeah, they're only good at two things, and that's why they use the same verb, kunzari, to make the bed and to set the table. Like, that is the funniest thing I've ever fucking heard. That's and also, funny. Not wrong.
It's so funny that they had got her even to play the wife.
That's
it makes sense for the Miami section.
It makes so much sense. It's just so funny that this dude dates two of the hottest women you've ever seen in your life.
Right. What does that say about being? Maybe that's why. Maybe this is really why so many people open a restaurant, is because they saw that Jon Favreau was able to have sex with Scarlett Johansson and was married to Sophia, whatever the fuck her last name is. And it's not so much just the romanticizing the food truck. It's the fact that he was able to sleep with those two very attractive women.
It's the same reason anyone watches like concert videos and you're like, wait a second, I want to be a guitarist. Because all the girls like the guitarists. It's the same vibe.
This is probably the most, like, one of the more real sections in the entire movie is the constantly not having time for your family because you have to be at the restaurant.
Yeah. And with him, it's fucking rough because it's not only time that he can't spend with his family, but like he's making beautiful food and he's not even doing nothing.
Right.
Because he's not allowed to do anything.
Yeah.
So rough. Nah, the like family aspect of this movie is so incredible.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I mean, this is another great sequence in the movie. You know, him in the kitchen, just R&D, getting his shit together by himself.
Yeah.
You know.
It's honestly why I think this movie still holds up, and honestly will hold up for a really long time. In my opinion, it's just like one of the greatest food movies because whoever made it, you know, just like The Bear, you can tell loves food.
Yeah.
Because this is like, again, this is porn. This is sensual. This is fucking crazy.
Yeah. It's funny that, like, this movie is 10 years old. I'm going to be really critical of Syracuse right now. This movie is 10 years old, and we still don't have more than 2 restaurants, maybe 3, in this entire city that can produce food that looks that good.
That's so true. Oh, what are the 2? You think?
Eden, without question, and I haven't been there yet, but Noble Cellar, I've been told.
I've heard a lot of things about Noble Cellar. I think the food looks really good. I've like just from friends, I've honestly heard a lot of like mixed things, and I don't even want to, I don't want to say anything.
Yeah.
For that too negative to a place that I've never been.
Right.
Obviously, but if someone's gonna be chefy, I hope it's good because that's definitely one of our more chefy places that we have in Syracuse.
And I don't think they have I don't know for sure the details, but I know like their opening chef left after a couple weeks because, you know, family stuff. His wife had like an amazing job and they had to go back to Florida for it.
Damn.
So, you know, whatever. I don't know who's in there now. I am incredibly critical of them. I haven't been either, but I'm incredibly critical of them and I need to not be. So if Rob or Sarah listening, forgive me for everything I've said on the podcast about you. Because somebody told me before they opened, they were like, oh yeah, Noble Cellar is going to be like just a small step below St. Urban. And I'm like, the fuck they're going to be a small step below St. Urban. Like, if you're going to hold yourself to that standard, you better be fucking great.
Yeah, no, and like, it's honestly, it's fair to want to see someone deliver because you want to see someone deliver.
I do, yeah.
That's so fair. That's why I love somewhere like Alto, who like, they have this vibe of like, we don't give a fuck, but we do give a fuck about like serving really cool, just like inauthentic but delicious food.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, I've liked them over the years, and I think just since moving back, because I've been back in Syracuse, I think like 2.5, 3 years now.
Okay.
Man, I've just like grown for that to be just a place that I frequent because of how like, I don't know. It's grungy, but it's classy.
Right. Alto Cinco, I don't go there nearly as often as I should. Alto Cinco is definitely top 5 best restaurants in Syracuse. Just because like it doesn't feel, every time I'm in there, I'm like, this isn't Syracuse.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree. And I think it's because of the fact that they embrace, I don't want to say embrace tradition, because again, like I think I love the fact that they do this fun thing of like, it's gringo Mexican food. It is Mexican food, and you can tell that they care about it.
Yeah.
But they're not trying to be super old school or anything.
Right.
They're just trying to like same thing with pastas and Italian food. Like I love.
Yeah.
I don't think I realized this until working there, but I didn't realize how much they don't want to call themselves Italian food.
Yeah. Yeah, when you said Italian food, I was like, I don't know if they are. But yeah,
No.
you're right. But they do a great job. Pastas does. Phenomenal. I think Eden is the best restaurant we've got in Syracuse.
Which I still have not been to either.
Oh, Eden's a must.
Really?
Eden's an absolute fucking must. Nobody else is cooking the way they're cooking. Rich has this mind for like really just incredibly traditional, and like he'll go in there and like he'll have this pasta shape and you're like, oh cool, that's an interesting pasta shape, and he'll be like, yeah, it was created in like fucking Istanbul in 1670. It's like, what the fuck?
And that shit is so cool. That's so cool to me to know that much about like what you're doing.
Yeah. Derek, who I just had on the podcast, and he's coming back on the podcast. Derek is also very talented. So Eden is without question the best restaurant we've got in Syracuse.
Word.
The second I would say is Abioko.
Oh, which I've never even heard of.
So it was Amano. Amano was the best my favorite restaurant in Syracuse, without question. Alex and Lauren, who were there. The Fiacchi family, Anthony Fiacchi, that is the dad, is the pinnacle of hospitality in a restaurant in Central New York.
Word.
Without question. I mean, like if you want a textbook lesson on restaurant manager, owner, operator, how to have the best hospitality, it's Abioko. It's the Fiacchi family, without question.
That's dope.
So Anthony is the dad, who's like front of house. Alex and Lauren, son and daughter-in-law, were there. They opened the restaurant years ago with the dad, but then they've since moved down to North Carolina. Two people who we did not deserve. I mean, making every pasta shape from hand.
Oh man!
I mean, everything there was like made from scratch. Absolutely incredible. Lauren is just like a genius with so many different fucking things. And they moved because Syracuse didn't deserve them, so then there's Noah, who's the son, who's there. He runs the wood-fired pizza oven. It's in the dining room, which is really cool.
That's
his
sweet.
Yeah, his pizzas are the best in Syracuse. But then they'll do some dishes that I think are still in the oven, like they have the shrimp. It's not a shrimp scampi. It's like a prawn. I forget what the fuck it's called. It's prawns, some sort of fucking sauce or juice, and then toasted like it's not sourdough, but like a thick crusty bread on the bottom. It's fucking incredible. The only reason why I still don't put them as like in such high regard is their chef, who is still very, very talented, and I've met him before. He's a nice enough guy. I hope he doesn't listen to this. He was from Francesca's for years.
Oh, wow. Oh,
So-
on the north side?
Yeah.
Okay.
So still very, very, very good food. Still in the top 5 without question. I'd say the second best in Syracuse in terms of quality and just experience and the whole nine. It's just not as good as when Alex and Lauren were there.
Yeah, which is hard because like even if you're not like, you want it to be what you had.
Yeah.
So bad. And
Yeah.
like you can embrace change, but when you know that something just tastes,
Yeah.
like the way that it's supposed to taste,
Right.
it's I don't know. It's tough.
There's some weird thing. It's like, even thinking about like Alex and Lauren, like, I mean, so the first time we ever went to dinner there, my wife and I, we just walked in and we had dinner. They sent out like an extra dish or two on the house for us to try. Once Alex I'm assuming that he saw that it was me, and he was like, "Oh shit, here's some extra food." And I think I met him before, but like not really well. And then it's not like we were friends. But as we were leaving for the night, he came out of the kitchen and walked up to me and shook my hand. And like, as he shook my hand, he pulled me in closer. He goes, "If you ever come back into my fucking restaurant without making a reservation, we're gonna have a problem." I was like, oh shit. I was like, okay.
That's kind of fun though.
So I made a reservation, but anytime we would go to dinner there, they would send out like 2 or 3 or 4 additional dishes that we didn't ask for.
That's
just
so
they
nice.
And there was this one time he was like, we have a garden upstairs. I went upstairs, cut this, and this off of our garden, came down and made this dish for you to try. I was like, holy fuck. You know, this is one of my other favorite scenes. It's just like the hash browns, you know, just the breakfast.
Oh, okay. I don't know why. This kind of escaped my mind because whenever I think about him and his son cooking, I always think about that grilled cheese scene because it's just so, it's iconic the way the whole thing looks. But that, so simple, so good.
I know. I just love that he has like a griddle, you know, he has a flat top on his, and a hood.
This is the only thing, this is the one hyper unrealistic thing about this movie is every chef that I know, like you are not a good, successful chef if you have a nice kitchen in your house. You need to have a bullshit, like something needs to be wrong in order for it to really like taste right.
That's funny.
This is a beautiful, I mean, listen, it's a great kitchen. I would fucking kill to have that like, in my home, but nah, man.
Yeah, I think real life is maybe a little bit more like The Bear, where like the season 1, he's like cramming a peanut butter and jelly and chips into his mouth. You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
God, the amount of times I have just like inhaled an entire pot of Kraft mac and cheese after just like a long, hard, beautiful service.
Right.
Because that's all you want.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not going home and like whipping up something crazy.
No, never. You just want to sit down and bask in junk.
So this scene is, you know,
so funny.
A brisk walk. I'd rather, you know, have you sit on my face after a brisk walk on a hot summer day than suffer through that meal again. Like, I love this. Like,
and that dude, and then this is also a really funny time because this is when, this is actually really again great for us two specifically to be watching because it's just like running both of our businesses off of social media.
Yeah.
This movie really highlights the beginning of like that weird symbiotic relationship of food and social media.
Yeah, for sure.
That now I feel like we kind of live off of.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I mean, my whole fucking business is run off of Instagram.
Yeah.
You know?
Which I do love about your business. I mean, I don't think it would be nearly as special if you were like in downtown with a counter.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank you.
I think of like Candy, who owns Birria Queso Tacos. Like, she started and I made fun of her when somebody first told me about her like 2 years ago. They're like, oh, there's this lady who delivers tacos out of her car and has them in a cooler. I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna fucking happen. I'm not including her in my taco search. Mm-hmm. And then once she was in the pop-up kitchen and I had them, I was like, holy fuck.
Really,
these are the best.
She's also another person that I've been like eagerly, but like there's no reason why I haven't yet.
Yeah.
Especially because my good friend of mine who was my partner for a while, who he like lives right in the valley, and he's really funny because he's one of those dudes, and again I fucking love this guy. He's one of those dudes who's like, why am I going to get some out when I can make it better at home? Like, yeah, but the point is to go and like try new shit. I have been wanting to try that place for so long. They're looks great. And not a lot of like, you don't really see like chicken burrito.
No, you don't.
A lot.
Yeah. And so she's from LA. Mm-hmm. I don't think she was born, she told me, but I don't think she was born in Mexico, but she may have been. But she grew up in LA. Her father's from Jalisco, which is where birria was invented.
Wow.
And
that's fucking sick.
In LA, he was like known, or in their family, he was known as like the king of birria. Mm-hmm. So,
which is really fired to have in LA, because LA is literally just like street tacos are fucking nothing.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so he's known as like the king of birria. Yeah. She grows up watching him make birria, learns his recipe, memorizes it, uses his recipe. The only person in Syracuse, by the way, to make her own tortillas. You know.
Oh, so fire! And I didn't know that, and that like just brings it to that level.
Yeah, makes her own tortillas every day for the tacos. They're huge. I think you get like 5 of them for like $25.
Shit, fuck.
But you could like, you're stuffed after 2.
Yeah.
You know, they're just insane.
Damn, dude.
So this is interesting. It's like, you know, the scene where, you know, after all the fucking, you know, everything with Twitter and all that, and then now they're packed.
They're packed because of what he did.
Yeah.
Because he drove up all the business. And this is what, again, this is, I think, why it's interesting, because it's like, it's literally, and he's not even that young, but it's like the old versus the young.
Right.
Where his father just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand that, like, trying something new is literally going to bring people.
Yeah.
There's also the other reason with a brick and mortar. Like,
Yeah.
people expect, when you have like a stationary place, people expect you to do a certain thing and to do that consistently, which is like, I get it, but I just think, especially with food, it's such more of an experience to go and like see what people can come up with, you know, constantly.
Yeah.
That's honestly, that's what kept me at Pastas for so long, because I was just a prep cook who, like, I did do the morning line for a while, but I would do, pretty soon when I was there, they recognized that, like, I'm creative and, like, I'm not going to shut up about it.
Yeah.
So they let me do soups, and I did a soup a week, and it was so much fun to do shit that, like, I knew that people, you know, weren't used to.
Yeah.
There was this one girl who would come every time I loved doing a hot tom, what the fuck? It was a hot tom butter chicken soup.
Huh. That sounds
so good.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of their riggy chicken, and I would just make this really creamy, like coconut milk, basically curry as a soup.
That's interesting.
So good. And like it was really nice to see people be really excited. And they also, to their credit too, they do a great job of like rotating their seasonals. Okay, so like they have some really fresh shit.
Yeah.
But no, that's what's like scary about having a brick and mortar.
I know, yeah.
That people are going to get a little pissed if they don't have the right amount of consistency.
There's definitely a trend, like being like, you know, I manage social media accounts for like 9 restaurants in town. And one of the things I fucking hate getting is the DM, where's your menu? Fucking come here and figure it out. Like, make a goddamn reservation, show up, and see what's on the fucking menu.
It's right there. And also, if it's not there, like almost every single restaurant, especially if you have a brick and mortar, you have a website. It's just like there are certain steps that you do. The menu's going to be right there. It's really easy to find, always.
Yeah.
And you're already DMing them on Instagram, like scroll down, literally take 3 seconds and just do a wee.
Yeah.
And what do you see? You see all their food.
Right, exactly. I can't tell you how many times we've gone to a restaurant and I'm like, this sounds good. I wonder if they have it on their and I'll go pull up their Instagram account, start scrolling through to see if I can find it. You know, but there is this really strange feeling of, oh fuck, what did I do? When you go from an idea of a menu item or a presentation for food, or like, you know, man, the menu should be this, to then, oh fuck, I need to make this in a large amount, in a large quantity for people to fucking eat.
Yeah.
People are gonna come and pay money to eat. Fuck, I hope that this idea works.
Dude, that is honestly the most stressful thing. That happened to me, I think one of the last pop-ups I did with Anna, with She Fancy, when we were at On the Fly diner for a little bit.
Yeah.
We did this really awesome taco night. I was so excited. And I had an idea to do basically almost like a carne asada style tofu. I did it once a couple weeks before when I popped up at her place that was at Salt City Market, and it turned out pretty good, but I was like, the texture can be a little bit better. So I ended up frying all the tofu and then cutting up all the like really nice crispy pieces so you have that really like soft interior, and then braising the whole thing and basically like a beef stock with a bunch of my Korean barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
I was so fucking nervous, and like when it came out it was pretty good, and I was like, shit, like I'm gonna have to, like, this is a lot of tofu that I'm gonna have to serve. But as the night went on, I had it on basically a steam wheel the whole night. It turned into like the meatiest, thickest protein. So fucking good. Oh God. Very similar to that. It was actually, honestly, it was closer to a char siu than it was a carne asada. Oh man.
I know, like this scene of him in his kitchen making the food that he was going to make.
Like while you watch him just completely obliterate
Yeah.
this like hoity-toity ass menu.
Yeah.
Just so oblivious. Restaurant owners, dude.
I know.
Oh my god. I'd never say names, but like working in a place and then having the owner come and just like micromanage, I
Yeah.
think might be one of the biggest pet peeves as a chef, as a cook,
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
I feel like most of the time they know half of what you're actually doing.
Right. I mean, different restaurants have serve different purposes. Like
Yes.
there's no question that as much as I would love to see a city full of let's say Peels on Wheels in Rochester, which Luis is a master when it comes to pizza, perfecting his craft there at 4 a.m, working on shit. As much as I would love to see every restaurant be that, at the end of the day, like every city still needs the shitty dive bar where it's really not
Yeah.
that good. They need like the Italian place that's just gonna serve massive portions of bland tomato sauce and for a cheap enough price that people are families are gonna go there and like cities do need the whole gamut. I just don't know if restaurants know what they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's like Sant'Angelo's, great, shitty Italian American restaurant in Syracuse, right? In Liverpool. Families have been going there for years. They're fucking packed all the time. You're gonna get some massive portion of bland fucking Italian food. And that's fine. They exist, they serve their purpose. But in their heads, I wonder if they know that they serve that purpose.
I feel the same way, and again, I love them. My family loves them. Like, sorry, mom, but like, I feel the same way about fucking Twin Trees. I love Twin Trees.
Yeah.
They're a Syracuse staple. But like, that you're getting
Yeah.
bottom of the barrel,
Yeah.
delicious, shitty
Right.
Italian American food.
Yeah, for sure. Now, when I go to Twin Trees, but see, I'm a little different. If I go to Twin Trees, I'm only getting pizza.
Which honestly is how I think you should do it.
Right. And the thing is, like, Twin Trees is like, I don't know if you knew this. Syracuse has its own style of pizza, and it's Twin Trees. It's the slightly thick, not really thick, cut like crust that's cut in strips.
Yes.
They
I'm
don't
not
make it the
surprised.
original
Yeah.
Syracuse style, which was Shuffle's Pizza, which used Locatelli cheese and their cheese mix and did something different with their dough. But
If you like that shit, I'm gonna try to shut up because the best part is right now. I think Rosie's Corner in Brewerton.
Yeah, I've heard about them.
If you like that style, like, and you are kind of right, that is like Syracuse style because it's very specific.
Yeah.
You would really like Rosie's, I think.
Yeah.
We used to go there because we grew up on Oneida Lake, and we would literally just drive the pontoon boat over and get off and go to fucking Rosie's.
I love this.
Shit on my shit. The attention. this.
This is the part, you know.
Right there, specifically, his voice cracks in a way that, like, when I'm, like, really sitting down and just, like, watching this, I will fucking bust out.
Yeah.
Like, just like no other. Because that hearing him get that fucking angry, where his voice cracks like a teenager.
Yeah.
Over just this reviewer who just doesn't get it. Oh my fucking God.
I mean, so, you know, I've got the Eat Local New York card that I've had for like 6 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cutting it off at the end of this year. I'm shutting it down. No more.
Really?
Yeah. It's too, it doesn't generate enough money for me to give it a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not really gonna make enough money unless I do give it more attention.
Fair.
But as I'm like making more content for restaurants, I do want to start getting more in depth with some of my stuff and start being a little bit more critical. I've been critical on the podcast for restaurants, but that's about it. But especially the past few months, I've had so many fucking restaurant owners that are like, just don't like me, that come after me. And one of them, this guy that owns a diner up in Brewerton, I get an email out of the blue from him that's like, hey, I heard you've been talking shit about me around town, which I've only met the guy like once before. So I'm like, okay. And he's like, fuck you, take me off your Eat Local card. So I'm like, okay, cool, see ya. But then he goes on Facebook and he like makes this long post about me and all this shit. So whatever.
Oh God.
So part of me is like, all right, I'm just gonna take away that ammunition that people could have against me.
Yeah.
If they don't like what I say about them or a different restaurant, they can just be like, hey, I'm off the card, and then I have to deal with all that fucking shit.
Which is really annoying because I feel like there should be this healthy in between of being community based and wanting to like share what's within the community.
Yeah.
While also like being able to be critical. And again, like you don't necessarily have to be negative to be critical.
Yeah.
And it like not saying that you were in that moment,
right?
But just like I don't know, people really need to understand that like I don't know. Also sometimes that's interesting to people when someone has a bit of a like so thing about your restaurant, like yes it can be bad, but at the same time like I don't know, you understand that people have varied tastes.
Yeah, for sure.
And it gets people you want to check it out.
Yeah.
You want to see.
Yeah.
That's funny as hell though, dude.
Yeah. I've often blamed this movie on that guy's existence though.
Really?
Yeah, because like eating his food, I've thought to myself, he competed in a burger competition like 3 years ago, and 3 years ago, and I was a judge, and the burger was just like really bad mess of a fucking burger, and I literally like turned to Charlie Miller and I was like, this is a burger for someone who just watched the movie Chef and then sat down and said, I want to make a burger. Because it was like crispy oil and 4 patties and cheese. And it was like, and then like
God,
the
dude.
French fries were like peppered, you know, and it was just like,
It was just like too much.
way over. Yeah, it was just like, this is definitely somebody who doesn't know how to cook and watched Chef and was like, fuck, I'm going to try this.
Damn, dude.
But anyway, so this will be the last year for it. I'm probably gonna like officially announce that to everybody in like the next 2 months. Just like tell the restaurants, tell all the card holders.
Yeah.
But when that happens, I will start to put out. I haven't like sat down and figured out like what the shtick will be. I'm pretty sure I do want to change my videos to try and be a little longer and be a little bit more in depth instead of just like, hey, like, because right now if I go to a restaurant and to go make a video and on camera I eat food and it sucks, I just don't ever post. I just delete all the footage.
Yeah.
So, but I do want to start to get more in depth with my content on the videos and just, you know, talk a little bit more and like show different sides of the restaurants. I did this one for this Mexican place out in Rochester where like we walked in the back, like I thought I was just going there to eat a couple dishes and make a video of like, it's delicious.
Yeah.
But they were like, hey, come in the back and we're going to show you how we make our birria from start to finish. I was like, what?
That's hot.
And we were in their kitchen for like 2 hours as he's like taking us through every fucking step.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start to put shit out like that. But I think I'm going to start like, I don't know where it's going to go. It might go on a blog where maybe it's like once a month to start. It's not seeking to be critical, but it's going to be like a written, in-depth, here's what I think about the place, sort of a thing.
I think I like that because it's showing a little bit more of like a real take of what is around us.
Yeah.
And like, again, like it's great to share, but it's also great to know like how someone actually feels about a place. And it is really special to see when someone is going to like, I don't know, like invite you to see what's actually going on.
Right.
That had to be a really fun experience.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it should be cool. I'm going to grab another beer. Do you want anything?
I kind of would love a beer.
Yeah. Labatt or an IPA or...
Let's see. Do you have like a lager or anything like not super fucking?
Yeah. I got a Czech Pilsner.
That might be good. Pilsner might be dope.
What are these? I don't know what the fuck that is. Got a Czech Pilsner or a Czech Lager?
Let's do a lager. Czech. Is that like a...
Lager is going to be like a little bit... Technically, a lager and a Pilsner are the same if Tim Shore is listening, but a lager is going to be a little thicker. Gotcha. Maybe like a little bit more... like a thick blanket, where a Pilsner is going to be like a sheet.
Okay, I like that. Before and again. I would love, so I do all of the art and the logos and the flyers and the menus for nice. Mojos. Oh, yeah, it's so much fun. I love doing it. I like the art of making beer and wine. Yeah. Like labels. Yeah. So cool.
I think those guys, personal best, I think it's called, out of Ithaca.
It's so simple. I fucking love it.
I love their labels because it is like a photo of something. And it's funny, I had these two brothers on who own a restaurant in Ithaca. And after the fact, we were talking about this brewery. And they were like, in Ithaca, they're nothing. Like, nobody fucking really knows about them. Nobody goes there in Ithaca. But here in Syracuse, they're like all over the fucking place.
Really? So they have like their own their brewery out there. Person best. I wish I knew. I did this incredibly fun flea market last night.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah,
dude, the vibe in Ithaca is so awesome. I love how youthful it is. I love how people just embrace being fucking weird. Yeah, that's my favorite kind of shit. Yeah. And we ended up going to this little greenhouse cafe, I think it's called, and it had like one of the best espresso martinis I've had in my life. But I really want to. I'm thankfully going to be going there basically every time for the next 2 weeks until September.
I'd imagine you're the fucking belle of the ball in Ithaca.
People did like it. I was really, really happy. They do have a really dope burger stand right across the way, which I think people were, because they've been doing that backyard flea for a good few months now. And I think so people were used to that. But as soon as people kind of got the shtick, it was also kind of tough because we were right when you walked in, we were the first people there. And I think when you're at like a flea market, especially if it's food, the first thing that you're gonna see is not gonna be the first thing that you go to. Yeah. But for people to see it and then go around and then be able to smell the food and then come back and be like, oh, it's fucking vegan food. Yeah. Yeah, that people were really, really into.
That's cool.
For sure.
You always kind of get the shit into the stick on the first like year or two when you're open. And then like as you're around and people are used to you, then you start to get better spots and they put you in better positions at markets and events and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. I'm so used to it. I think being a musician makes you used to that. Yeah. You are so used to like, you have to do what you can. You kind of have to bite the bullet and like deal with the shitty time slots, this and that. And then like when people actually start to know you and they want to ask for you, then you kind of get a little bit. You just get better. Okay, this is also, it's so funny because it's so somber. I think is one of the funniest scenes of the movie because of the fact that he's literally like, I'm going to be a babysitter. No, dude, you're going to be a father to your fucking child. Is that so hard?
I used to, when our son was first born, I would, people would call me and they'd be like, hey, you want to do this? Be like, yeah, I'm babysitting. And they'd be like, you're the fucking dad. You're not babysitting. It's like, well, thank you, but my son's a month old. I'm fucking babysitting.
You're at that point, you're actually babysitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is funny because he's just a legitimate absent father who just doesn't want to babysit. Sorry, man, you have to go to Miami with your hot ex-wife who has an incredibly talented father.
Right.
Oh.
This is such a good scene.
Dude, I love it.
I want to go down to Little Havana and just spend a little bit of time in Miami.
Oh, dude, so do I. I went, I think it must have been 3 years ago now. It was my first winter back in Syracuse, and I went to see Khruangbin in Miami, and me and my sister spent literally just like 4 hours just gallivanting, just running around, seeing what we could eat, and just like it's a really fun vibe down there, man.
Yeah, I've been with Thirsty Neighbor. I'm starting to get into a lot of the Finger Lakes wineries, and
That's got to be fun.
It is. I'm going out Monday. I don't know if they would be considered. They're not. I don't think they're in the same class as the others, but Three Brothers on Monday, and then I'm going to the Spotted Duck, and
Ooh, that's all in the Finger Lakes?
yeah, and then those are in Geneva, and I'm going to Taburn Creamery. But there's one of the winery, and then like the week after, I'm going down to Hillock and Hobbs, which is like a relatively newer winery that only makes Riesling.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What was it called again?
Hillock and Hobbs.
Hillock and Hobbs. I would like that because again, I'm just like white and sweet.
Yeah. But the events and the food that these wineries have as pop-ups out there is insane.
Really?
And one of them does I think they call it like something like essentially a Buena Vista Social Club band, essential band that's out there like once a week playing at some winery.
Dude.
And then there's another spot that has like a legit, I forget the region of Mexico, like Mexican food truck. Like the food trucks and pop-ups that exist that show up at these wineries out in the Finger Lakes is insane.
I can only imagine. I've never been out to that area. I think that the closest I finally just went to the Hudson Valley this past year.
Oh,
you
really?
know, for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I had like, you hear about it, but I had no idea just how fun it is out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit like the Finger Lakes. Because I know it's this fun blend of like people who are hoity-toity, but then also just like cool, weird lake people.
Yeah.
You know, that's what makes me love New York is people like that.
Yeah. I love the scene of them eating the Cubano and him,
Just
freaking
out about it.
The plantains.
Oh, God. No,
There was this
don't
place
start on
when I
ham.
lived in Texas, place I lived in Texas. It was like this Latin American market in the back, and then the front it was like a restaurant. And it was similar to like Victoria or something that we have here, where it's like scoop and serve. But they made these Cubanos that were just fucking amazing. You know,
That sounds so good. I like shit like that. I think you really can't get better.
yeah,
I think the best taco I've had possibly in my fucking life was this past spring. I helped make an album and I did a pop-up out in La Veta, Colorado.
Okay.
Real like super far west. You're honestly like you're closer to Santa Fe than you are Denver. But to shop for the pop-up, I had to go out to Colorado Springs, and I went to this, I wish I could remember the name. I went to this little market, and it had like a full taqueria right when you walk in, and then on the other side was the actual market. And it was similar. It was just kind of scoop and serve. I had tostones, I had horchata, and I had like these incredible just pulled chicken tacos.
Yeah.
So insane. So insane. Just out of a grocery store.
Yeah.
Oh, that. Actually, fucking my favorite job in Orlando, Hawkers. Once a week, we would go, because where the restaurant was, I fucking love that he's in this.
I know. He plays such a fucking terrible and great character in this movie also.
The greatest douchebag you've ever met in your life.
I love him.
Love
this
God.
scene of him. I'm worried. Eat some crackers or something, and then dropping that she said she's pregnant.
She said she's pregnant.
Look at you. She's pregnant.
Completely just disarms everything.
I hate people like this in real life, and I know a couple of them who they talk like this and they think that they're normal. Like they think that like you should just be able to like pick up really quickly. Like, hey, I'm over here, then I'm over here, then I'm over here. And it's like, just like, oh, dude, just fucking talk normal, please.
Listen, one line of thought at a time. Like, I understand a squirrel, but there's gotta be a through line. There's gotta be a through line. Do you want a drink? Okay, what color?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he plays a great role in this movie.
That's so good. Oh, and I was gonna say when I worked at this place in Orlando, we would literally once a week get these banh mi, which again were the best banh mi I think I've ever had.
Yeah.
And it was from this Vietnamese grocery store that just had fucking a little spot that had banh mi's and boba.
Huh.
So good.
You've obviously been to Kai Dun over on State Street. Yeah. Yeah, they're phenomenal.
They're so good. I was gonna move into a house on the north side last year, and while I was working on it, it was my first time because I've heard so much about it, and especially now, like when I came back, everyone was like, "Oh, Joe, like all you do is make banh mi's. You got to go to this place and try banh mi." I was like, "Yeah, okay." I love a hole in the wall, and that is the definition of like a great hole in the wall that just does phenomenal food.
Yeah. There's a place, we live on the north side, and we're like 2 blocks away from Butternut, which sucks. But there was a Burn Dairy there on like that circle. Now it's like a blueberry market, I think it's called. Shitty fucking place. But over the past like month, there's this food truck. It's a mini school bus that has like the Jamaican flag painted on the outside of it now. And so it's obviously Jamaican food, and they're set up there like some days, and I really want to go try it.
Damn.
And just see if it's any good. I also am a little concerned I might get food poisoning, but because I can't imagine that it's fucking sanctioned.
Listen, that's how you know that the food's gonna be good. When you know when you question that you might get sick. Yeah. Sometimes that's the best shit.
Yeah.
Might get sanctioned. Oh man.
There is a place when I was in Rochester at the market on Tuesday that we were just walking to like the top, like to start at one end of the market, and I'm walking by and it's just this wooden stall that says Juana Maria's very addictive Spanish food, and I was like, the fuck, we have to go there and see what they have. And I just got a breakfast empanada, so it wasn't anything crazy. It was good. It wasn't greasy. It wasn't oily like a lot of empanadas are.
Fire.
But I was just like, dude, this food truck reminds me of Hermit's.
This food truck 100% is just Hermit's.
Yeah.
I know. He was...
Which I love.
Oh, dude, I love. I should be... he invited me to do a pop-up out of there pretty soon, but I think, like, for starter, we're just going to do some nice, like, fun collabs together. Yeah. And he was just, like, walking me through all of just the different little, like, mechanical problems that are in the truck, and I'm just like, man.
Yeah.
I get it. This is I know you got to feel so good to have this thing, but I also know how fucking rough it's got to be.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's crazy. So what's with you? So it feels like there's like a team of you, Anna, which I'm sure she's going to just continue to do something.
Yeah.
And then the guys on the fly.
Yeah, mainly Chris.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris from On the Fly, who was I think he was running the kitchen at Alto for a good few years, which I honestly didn't know.
See the one with the mustache and the glasses?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
I knew him from when he was at Kasai. Mm-hmm. When he was at Kasai
word.
for a little bit, I was doing the social media over there
Word.
and hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we just love working together. Especially like I mean, me and Anna have, I think, garnered just this really fun relationship of just like wanting to push each other.
Yeah.
So we want to do more stuff. It's like we really plan. We have like an Italian concept that we kind of want to start practicing, hopefully with Caleb at the food truck. Like we've had the idea because we just moved into a house together.
Okay.
And
You and Anna?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This really awesome place in Eastwood, and like we talked about doing like Sunday cafes, like doing coffee and she lived in Austin for a long time.
Yeah.
I lived in LA, so like breakfast tacos are in our blood.
Yeah.
I would absolutely kill to just serve French press coffee and do tacos.
I had her, I'm assuming, ex-husband on the podcast.
Yeah.
Back before when they were still in Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
I had him on the podcast, and yeah, he was like, and I lived near Austin. I lived in Killeen, which is like 45 minutes north of Austin for a few years, and he was like, yeah, we're from Austin. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, they lived there for a while. I had no idea. And that like she lived in Austin. She also lived in Orlando, which I think really made us just like gravitate towards doing shit together because we ate and I think that's honestly, the more I think about it too, that's why she reached out to me about doing just food.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that like a lot of the shit that I do, and like I wear the shit on my sleeve, you know?
Yeah.
It is very reminiscent of the food scene in Orlando.
Yeah.
Like there is a lot of Mexican, Asian, like specifically.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, fusion.
Yeah.
That they do out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so much fun to make.
This reminds me of this scene here when they're scrubbing the truck. Mm-hmm. When I first, I had 3-1 Fried as like a ghost kitchen sort of a thing.
Really?
Yeah, so there was...
Is that still running out of Limp Lizard?
No, we shut that part of it down, and then we're shut down the whole thing.
Word.
Not officially, but... So during COVID, Michelle, who owns the Brasserie, came to me, and she was like, hey, I'm opening up a new concept, like, can you do branding? I was like, yeah. So she hired me she wanted to do a ghost kitchen out of O'Day's, which is now where Emerald is. She was like, I've got this space, I own the building, it's shut down, but I've got the kitchen, I want to do a ghost kitchen out of it. I was like, cool. And she was the first person to ever do a ghost kitchen in Syracuse, and like that was a real ghost kitchen. But anyways, so she was like, all I know is it's a burger concept. So basically, this is I think a lot of restaurants do this. She went to her food rep at US Foods and was like, I want to do a ghost kitchen. And they said, you should do burgers, here's the menu, And so everything was just like pre-cooked shit. Like it wasn't good food.
Yeah.
But so she was like, so I want to do a ghost kitchen burger concept. I need somebody to do the brand, the logo, the name, the design, the whole thing. I was like, sweet, I'll do it. So she hired me to do it. We came up with Mad Burger was the name of it. And but she was only open for like 2 weeks and then closed because the staff, this was like during the height of people were getting a shit ton of money on unemployment. You couldn't hire a cook to save your life.
Yeah. Yeah, because everyone was just fucking sitting pretty.
Exactly. So we offered this one guy $30 an hour or $25 an hour cash under the table 20 hours a week, not even, I think it was like 16 hours a week, so he could still collect his unemployment, and he wouldn't even fucking do it.
Really?
Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
Damn, dude. I would have jumped on something like that fucking easy.
Yeah.
All throughout COVID, I was doing front of the house managing for an Argentinian restaurant on Melrose Avenue in LA. And the fact that I wasn't sitting on my ass collecting the unemployment that I collected like basically a whole ass year after that.
Yeah.
And making more money than I think I've seen.
Yeah.
God, what the fuck?
Yeah. So I helped her start that, and that was a lot of fun. I was like doing the social media for it. I had a lot of fun doing it. But she shut down after 2 weeks.
Damn.
And so a few months later, Nick Ford, who's one of the owners at Limp Lizard, who I was friends with, came to me and he was like, our North Syracuse location sucks in the wintertime. Let's go in together on a ghost kitchen idea. So back and forth, trying to think of a concept. I've had this idea I wanted it to be a tiny, I don't know if you know where, Biblos is next to Glazing Infused.
Yes.
So Paul Valenti asked me years ago, before COVID, hey, if that place goes out of business, I might take it over. What do you think? What kind of a restaurant would you put in there? And immediately, without thinking about it, I was playing fucking video games when he called me. Without even having ever thought about it before, I was like, gourmet fried chicken, bone in, family style, takeout only, couple of cans of craft beer, fried chicken, and really great sides. That's it.
Dope.
He was like, I love it. What do you call it? Again, never fucking thought about it before a day in my life. I was like, 3-1 fried. He was like, I love it. We're doing it. And then nothing ever fucking came of it.
Damn.
So then years later, I do the Mad Burger. And then a couple years after that, Nick's like, ghost kitchen idea for my restaurant. And I was like, well, we could do fried chicken sandwiches and do 3-1 fried. He was like, fucking A, we're doing it. So we did it. It was fun. It just didn't make any money. And
really?
this is
how come? Just was it not like known enough, or?
Well, all right. So this is the trend of a typical restaurant in Syracuse. If you have a brick and mortar, or you're a ghost kitchen, and this is what the numbnuts that get smashed are going to learn really fucking soon. Here's how it works when you open a restaurant in Syracuse. You open up, and if you do a really great job of social media leading up to it, when you first open, you'll be busy. Like, let's say you do $5,000 a week, okay? And if you're a small place, that's fucking great, right? But let's say you're doing $5,000 a week just on your own social media presence, and trying to get customers in the door yourself. You build your own web, all that fucking shit. $5,000 a week. And you're like, okay, cool. And then depending on how things go, it might be a couple weeks, it might be a couple months. Charlie Miller will eventually find out about you, and he'll come out and try your food, and he'll write an article about you. And that gets about 30,000 hits on their website. And then when that article goes out for Syracuse.com, you fucking skyrocket. I mean, it takes off like a fucking rocket ship. And you'll start doing 25 to 30 grand a week. And you as the restaurant owner sitting there thinking, I am a genius. This is how it's all supposed to be. I'm going to do $25,000 to $30,000 a week for the rest of my fucking life. I have found my calling. And if you suck at what you do, if your food sucks, if your service sucks, whatever the case is, you will hold that 25, 30 grand a week for like 2 weeks. If you're great at what you do, best fucking food ever, best service, there's no wait, you'll do 25 to 30 grand a week for like 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, but it always
crashes and fucking burns.
Dude, I feel like it's because, people in Syracuse are so stuck in what they like.
Well, it is Syracuse, and people do hear about the new thing and they want that. But it's also, like I read this in like an advertising book, people have room in their heads for like 5 brands.
Yeah.
you're Target or Walmart, you're McDonald's or Burger King, you're, Tully's or fucking whatever the fuck. They have the places that they go, those 5 brands that they go to all the time. And so for you as a new restaurant or new business of any sort to try and overtake one of those 5 brands takes a lot of fucking effort.
Yeah.
Like for you, people are strong hearts. And
People are, and it's hard to get them out of that brain of strong hearts. And I'm really, really glad, especially with the breakfast thing, I'm really glad that people have connected to it so much. Like that's why I love doing I do the Keep Going markets a lot with Peaks and my cousin Bianca who does the Keep Going. They're great. They're filled with students. They're like, it's lively. It's incredible. And it makes me excited because like I get to do migas and like breakfast tacos and shit like that. And it's fun. But yeah, no, like people, when they know of vegan food in Syracuse, they think of Strong Hearts and Strong Hearts alone. Especially someone who like Jess, who does kitchen literacy.
Yeah.
She was really, she's such an awesome friend, and she was really getting in my mind of like, you do what Strong Hearts does. Like I love doing the junk food thing, but it's also it's much different.
Yeah.
There are also people like, you were kind of talking about this earlier with, because people who are making their own shit and just like, it's got a certain quality when it's just like stuff from a package that they slap onto shit. I like OG Strong Hearts, I think is one of my favorite restaurants in Syracuse. If they still had that location on, what was it, Genesee?
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
So good. I would skip school to go there. Like it was so dope. And now it's like, it still is. I honestly do. I will put my fucking life on the line and say that they have the best milkshake in Syracuse.
Yeah, that's really fucking good.
Like so good.
Yeah.
But like sadly, like a lot of the stuff that they're known for now is like Beyond Burgers, Tyndall chicken sandwiches. Like their wings are great, but their wings are like pre-made.
Yeah.
And they like they batter and fry them great, and their sauces, most of their sauces are completely homemade. And like that's, I think, a really key thing.
Yeah.
But
I had them on the podcast a couple years back, and it was interesting to hear their perspective. Every time I get around them, I just like feel, I'm like, fuck, do I have anything leather on? Like, did I just fucking talk about burgers? Like,
Yeah.
And Joel from Strong Hearts has always been like, there was a time where like he might DM me like every once in a while and be like, dude, this fucking Instagrammer just DM me and wanted something, and Joel just like gives me that vibe of like, fuck, don't piss him off, sort of.
Yeah, no, he is like old school, like hardcore, what is it, straight edge vegan vibe to the T.
Yeah.
To the T. No. That's also why I pride myself in people knowing that I'm not a vegan, because it's like, listen, I'm not trying to be fucking pretentious. I'm just trying to make you eat vegetables. Yeah.
But Joel, I mean, they're both great guys. I think it's Nick, right? Joel and Nick, yeah. I hardly go in there just because, I don't go out, like, especially having our son, we don't go out to eat anymore.
Yeah.
We used to go out like maybe twice a night and then get takeout a third night. But now we don't fucking go out. And if I go out to eat, I only do it. I'm either like rushing between something, and like today I went to Panera Bread and immediately was like, this is the worst fucking decision I've ever made.
Yo, real quick, you want to know something really fucking funny? Panera Bread is what made me want to work in the food industry.
Really?
When I was a kid, I was like, oh my God, I love bagels, I love sandwiches, and Panera Bread was my first job, and I was like, wait a second, I could just work in restaurants forever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny.
So fucking funny.
Yeah, that's how a couple people got started. Like Toss and Fire. Nick Sanford came from Panera. He was like management of some sort there, and then left to start his own thing.
That's so funny.
Was it? Yeah, it was Nick.
But yeah. So like, I know you just don't have time. Like, there's no time.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like, we're all working hard to like do what we want to do. Sometimes it's like you just don't have the money for it.
Right. There is that, because it is fucking and stupid expensive to go out to eat today.
Dude, it's like I run into that so much, like just as a problem, because of the fact that I want my shit to be accessible. I also know that like a lot of, this is also why I try my best not to get too much like alternative meat substitutes
Yeah.
because of the fact that like
Expensive.
it's so fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Expensive. It's so expensive.
I mean, I was just talking to a restaurant owner who's a friend of mine, but he was telling me, and he's like one of the nicer restaurants in Syracuse, but he was telling me that like the price that he's getting on his pork tenderloin, he has this pork dish that he has on his menu priced out for like $37, and it cost him like $3.50. But then his steak dish that's like $46 cost him like $17. And I was just thinking like, dude, if the people of Syracuse knew the cost, the true cost of food, and then versus what they're paying, there would be like a fucking protest in the
Yes.
streets of like, fuck you, we're not eating out anymore.
Dude, there'd be a legitimate fucking riot. No, I know. My mom, who honestly inspired me to do like the Mojo thing, because she has this wonderful business. She works at Central Square Schools. She's a library assistant. She worked in special ed like for the past fucking 20 years. But she's always cooked on the side, and now she does this thing where she makes, like during the school year, she does a salad and a sweet and a soup, or like some kind of pasta or something, and she does it for people. She brings it in every Monday. She'll have 30 to like 60 fucking orders.
Wow.
Crazy. This woman is the hardest working person I've ever met in my life. I love her. Yeah, fantastic. I have to like really get into her brain and be like, Mom, you can't sell a fucking salad for $11. And it's not even a thing of that's too expensive. It's like, no, you are spending so much money on all of this shit.
Yeah.
Like people are just gonna have to understand.
Right. Yeah.
That like groceries are expensive, so you have to up your price. And then like when you get to a restaurant like that where it's like, you know, they can have a decent slice of pork and then just up their price because it's this thing, and they probably make like a really nice fancy red wine sauce and all this shit. It's like, dude, you know that shit is cheap.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this, by the way, is one of my favorite scenes because it reminds me of, you know, first of all, just like relaxing after everything's done. When I was working doing the social when Kasai was open, and he had Danny's, but when Kasai was open and Jesse was there, he did like 2 or 3 of them when I was working for him, these private dinners that he had like auctioned off. And
That's pretty cool.
it was like a 4-person, 6-7 course dinner. They were sitting in like their own, like up on that platform, that stage there. And then it was him and Jesse. Whoever else was cooking was there doing the normal service. Him and Jesse were just doing this. And I would hang out by the kitchen and just take pictures and like drink beers and bullshit with them.
Yeah.
And then what would happen is Kyle would save a little bit from each course, or like an additional half of a plate from each course. And at the end of the night, once everybody was gone and the restaurant closed, me, him, and Jesse would go in the back and sit down there and eat, and then drink. And Kyle is a prick. And Kyle's like definitely one of the first people to fucking admit he's a prick. But he would, as his like bartenders or servers were upstairs like cleaning, the 3 of us just be sitting down there drinking IPAs and be like, give me another, you know, make him give him shit. And then at like midnight, we'd go over to Kitty Hoynes and hang out and throw them back. But that's like the best part of every restaurant is like hanging out late at night when everything's done, everybody's gone, the restaurant's closed, and just drinking and
100%.
talking to your friends and hanging out.
It's that, I think, is like why a lot of us get into the restaurant industry, because like that's the core of it. That's like the best kind of shit. We would also do that same thing at Hawkers, which is like one of my Hawkers is by far my favorite restaurant job ever. If you ever travel down south, they have I'm really proud to say that I was at the first one, but now like they have them in North Carolina and Georgia and Florida. It's like incredible Asian tapas kind of shit.
Oh, that's cool.
Like all sorts of just like Asian fusion food. I think it's owned by 3 Chinese guys who like in college got around a lot of like Taiwanese and Korean cooking and just like wanted to make like true fun Asian fusion.
Yeah.
And God, at the end of the night, me and the other like walk guys, it's also where I like learned how to just cook fucking fast. I miss working in a walk so bad. We would just like have a little fried medley of all the random shit like wings and little tofu bites and green beans. And they would bring shots over. Everyone was Latino in some way, and they would bring their favorite fucking tequila, and we would do. The only time that I was really a big drinker was when I was in Orlando. Do shots and just eat food. Yeah, after service at like fucking midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
just sitting.
It's fun.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
This shit is what worries me about traveling and having a food truck.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure like the bigger places, like they probably check their shit out. But at the same time, like you're in a small city like Syracuse, the health department, you're going through and doing a pop-up, they don't fucking know.
They don't care.
They don't, I mean, most of them, 90% of the health inspectors we have, like there's Chris who's there, who's a phenomenal guy. And I mean, this year's Taste of Syracuse, I applied, I fucked up and I thought that like my permit, my mobile health permit was good for 30 days. It's good for 30 days per address. So like if you're doing a mobile at like in Clinton Square, you've got 30 days. If you do another event in those 30 days in Clinton Square, you don't have to apply for another one. But if you move, you have to. So anyways, I fucked that up and applied for my permit the day of Taste of Syracuse, which is a no-no. You shouldn't fucking do that.
Yeah.
And I called Chris the second they opened. I was like, hey, I think I fucked this up. I just applied. And they still, let me do
it.
Yeah. And then even like when they came through to do the inspection, he's like, everything you have is frozen? Yeah. He's like, you're not holding food? I was like, no, I'm cooking to order. He's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. You're good.
Yep. No, I know. That's also like, that's how fucking, that's how I get away and like people like Strong Hearts get away with like a lot of shit because especially around here,
it's not meat.
It's not meat.
Yeah.
People don't give a fuck
right
about the vegetables.
Yeah. We did an event last year and I didn't have anything set up on my line yet. Everything was on the reefer truck from Renzi. And the health inspector came through and he was like, where's all your cold shit? And I was like, it's all on the reefer truck. He's like, all right, see ya.
Wow. Dude,
He wasn't like, go get set up, I'll come back in 20 minutes, He's like, it's on the truck, it's cold now, we're good. Talk to you later.
Yeah. Listen, it gives me hope for when I, end up fucking doing more, having actual stands and maybe a truck or something in the meantime.
But if they don't like you, like there was a time Kyle, for example, we did a weekend evening pop-up with Danny Steaks, and they just, Onondaga County had it out for Kyle, and they showed up at this event out in Baldwinsville because we had posted that Kyle was going to be there doing a pop-up for Danny Steaks. They showed up on a weekend at night to like check his shit out because they were just like, we're just going to try and get him, and he wound up not being there. He couldn't make it, so I had a different truck. So they showed up. They're like, "Where's Danny Steaks?" I was like, "Oh, he's not here tonight."
Fucking smart, dude.
Yeah, but that's one of the only times that like I've ever seen a health inspector at like a random pop-up food truck sort of a thing.
Yeah, but in all of the pop-ups and markets that I've done, I don't think I've ever encountered like a health inspector come and actually like ask around and shit. And like thankfully, I usually go to places that have kitchens, so I have the it's like it's all prepped in there, and it's all good. But I'd like knock on wood, but
that would be the interesting side of a restaurant or chef movie, is to show like the majority of it be the paperwork, and I have to change my address on Facebook, and less of the hey, let's get back to our roots with the food,
And it's like, oh no, it's like, hey, let's let's apply for this loan and get a permit so we can sell food out by the diner.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this scene's funny.
This shit's so funny.
Imagine being that, like doing that, like driving a fucking food truck.
God, again, pour one out for Caleb.
Yeah. I mean, but like driving across the country, sleeping.
Dude, I can't.
In the truck.
And also, again, it's like, bro, do you have a fucking commissary? Like,
right.
How are you just driving with all of this food?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, obviously, like, this isn't real life.
Yes.
But I'm assuming from the logistics, it's like they're going to get everything. But like,
yeah.
Still, if you're going to a fucking, they're doing mojo and ham and like, if you're going to a fucking city and you're going to a farmer's market, you're not getting a side of pork shoulder,
No, hell no. No, they have to be going to markets. Also, that is, I think, one of my favorite fucking lines in the whole movie. In the morning, if you dip your nuts in oil, you can make hush puppies. If you're putting cornstarch on your balls, that shit is so...
This is the Louisiana section.
Yeah, dude. The one time he actually has a good time with his child.
Yeah.
Also, just this whole, like the other romanticization. I don't know why I can't fucking say that word. It's so beautiful to have a food truck. The fact that this guy, who's so worried about the money he's making, just like got this food truck, his buddy decked it out with a logo and all that shit. Like, oh God, you can only wish.
Right.
You could only wish.
I know. I mean, that's like to your point, like you got to do all the hard work. Well, where the fuck did you get the pork?
Where the fuck did you get the pork? Especially in like Louisiana, like where are you going?
And if you're doing mojo, I mean, obviously, I know this is super geeky to be talking about this, but
hey.
If you're doing mojo, you've got a day. You're not doing that first thing in the morning and then getting ready for lunch. You're doing that, a day, 24 hours ago.
Yeah, the night before, you're driving around and the shit is sloshing in your goddamn fridge.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh. Louisiana is one of the few places not few places, but just one of the places where I've just had the opportunity to go to so many times. I've not been able to go out.
Yeah.
God, New Orleans just seems like such a dream. I feel like for anyone who likes to cook and just eat,
yeah,
New Orleans seems like a dream.
I wish I had gone through. So when I moved from Syracuse to Texas, I left like a week early. And
really?
I had to be there on July 7th, let's say. I left on the 1st. And I just went out there with whatever would fit in my Chrysler Sebring, my car at the time. And just took my time. Like I remember when I was 25 at the time. So when I first got on the thruway and was driving west, I was like, in my head, I'm like looking at the GPS. All right, it says I'm going to be there in 24 hours. I'm going to try and get there in 23, that kind of shit. And then I saw the sign for Niagara Falls, and I had this thought like, I can do whatever the fuck I want. I don't have to be there for a week. And I'm by myself driving halfway across the country. And I stopped off in Niagara Falls. I was like, I'm going to go to fucking Niagara Falls. Stopped off in Niagara Falls. It was a shitty rainy day. I wound up like being asked to be a witness for this couple that was getting married right there.
Oh, hell yeah.
And that just kind of set the tone for my trip of like, I'm going to take my time, just figure shit out as I go. So I wound up like staying a day or two in Kentucky with family, and then went down to Corbin, Kentucky, which is where my grandmother's from, which is also, I went to the first ever Kentucky Fried Chicken in Corbin, Kentucky.
Yo, hell yeah.
Went there, and I was talking to a cousin, and I was thinking I was going to stop in New Orleans for the night. And my cousin, who's like a musician and had been there, he was like, don't fucking go to New Orleans. because I was like sleeping in my car. He was like,
Yeah.
if you go to fucking New Orleans and sleep in your car, there's a pretty good chance you're gonna get fucking robbed or shot or something.
Yeah.
So I wound up. I remember my first thought was, I'm gonna go. I was like driving. I was like looking at the map. I'm like, maybe I'll go to Mobile, Alabama. I'll hang out there. Go see some of the history there. Mm-hmm. That was my plan. I'm driving down the highway. I'm coming up on a sign that it was like left to Mobile, right to Atlanta. And I had an ex-girlfriend in Atlanta, so I went right to Atlanta.
Yeah.
I called her, hooked up with her for the night, and then the next day I was driving across just straight west and stopped in some small fucking town in Mississippi, and looking on Yelp, there was a gas station that said they had the best. It was a gas station that had like a fried food and seafood like window in the gas station. And
Dude, traveling and driving, you find that.
Yeah.
You find so many of those.
yeah. And I stopped and had like the best po' boy I've ever had in my life at
that's
this fucking
fire.
shitty gas station.
Dude, that's the best vibe. Again, being at that shitty fucking beautiful grocery store in Colorado and having the best taco of my life.
Right.
Like that's where you find that shit.
Yeah.
I had a very similar experience when I moved to LA because I think I was 22 or 23.
Okay.
And I was supposed to move out there with a couple friends. They all kind of just ended up ghosting me around like the week of I was leaving.
Wow.
And I was like, well, I have this plan. I'm gonna go.
That's
So
wild.
I did the same thing. I packed up my car with everything that I could, and I was like, I'm going out to California. Like this is what I want to do. I've had the plan. And I left a little early because I went to go drive down to Florida to spend like a couple days, my birthday with my sister, and then drive out.
That's cool.
So much fun, dude. And I was also going to, like, my first stop, I think I had an Airbnb already booked. Because I stay on top of that shit. When I'm driving,
Yeah.
I've got Airbnb open. I know exactly where I'm going to stay. I know where I'm going to go. I'm driving like a solid 10 hours and I'm landing.
That's funny.
I had my first one in New Orleans. I was so excited. And I think this was when, oh God, when this was like around 2019-ish. And it was right when New Orleans had like the most historical flood that they've had, and it happened literally a day or two right before I was gonna go. I was so fucking psyched. I was like, I've all my life, watching Chef. I'm so excited to go to New Orleans.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, the whole city is flooded, so I can go and like be a fun tourist and try to eat when this community is literally underwater.
Yeah.
Dude.
This is one of my favorite spots. Like, if there's a favorite section of like places in America that he goes, it's this. I don't know if it's because I've been to all these places.
Yeah. Well, and this is one of the few dudes in the movie who's like a legitimate, like, this guy is a barbecue guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron Franklin is like, definitely, I would still say like for America, he's probably still considered like the best, Texas style brisket person. There's definitely, especially listening to like Rogan and hearing all of those celebrities that are moving out, that now live in Austin. Like Terry Blacks is a big one that's out there. This is the thing with Texas though. There's such a history of German immigrants that opened up. But yeah, so that's where Texas barbecue comes from, and smoked meats in general in that area is
German
immigrants. Because back in the day, like in the West, in order to get settlers to move from the east to go out west, and I've been to this place, the Stubbs, and that's Gary Clark Jr., which is awesome. And that's literally right on Congress Ave, which is like a sort of a big like street, and then like there's just that fucking place, like literally right on the side of this. Like it's sandwiched in all of these other fucking places. That street, you could go down there and like go into a clothing store, and when you walk into the clothing store, they offer you like either a can of beer or like they're like, do you want some barbecue? Like they just have like barbecue in the back that like you can sit there and eat like a brisket or eat brisket and like have a can of like, Lone Star beer while you're shopping for clothes. It's fucking cool.
What the fuck? I need to go to Texas.
Austin's a great fucking city to go to.
I have two friends who I know like two close friends from Orlando that moved down to Austin.
Yeah.
Again, like the fact that Anna has so much.
Yeah.
Like we've had the plan to do like a low key like nostalgia food tour. Me and her.
Yeah.
Of just like driving down, hitting Orlando, hitting Austin,
That'd
just
be
like
cool.
the places that we fucking love. But no, I've had so many things calling me to Austin.
Yeah, Austin's a great fucking city.
And I know that the music scene's pretty good.
The music scene in Austin is incredible. I mean, they've got Austin City Limits, which, you know, so many fucking artists go through there. But just Austin in general has an incredible scene. It's you know, keep Austin weird. So that's kind of the thing. It's like they talk about it a lot. Like Austin is a very interesting city. Like 6th Street, going like this is, you know, 9 years ago.
Yeah.
We used to go there on like a Friday, Saturday night. They shut down all of this street down to like vehicle traffic, and cops are at like every intersection so nobody can come through. Everybody's walking in the middle of the street. You might see somebody walking by that's like I think the homeless issue has gotten a little bit bad in recent years, but back in the day, you'd be like see somebody walking by topless, just walking up to people giving them hugs. You would have some homeless because there is a shelter like right there on 6th. But then you would walk past like a barcade that's like jamming techno music, and then right next to that like a slice shop, and then right next to that like a nicer Mexican restaurant, and then right next to that like a dive bar, and then another techno bar, and then and it's just all down 6th Street.
And this is in Austin?
This is in Austin, yeah. That's like downtown Austin. But like when I lived there 9 years ago, they were saying there's so many fucking people moving here that like when I lived there, the commute was already bad. Like what used to take 30 minutes would take you an hour.
Yeah.
Today, I couldn't imagine. I mean, what it's like because so many fucking people have moved there. And the comedy scene, it's like the best and biggest comedy scene in America is in Austin, Texas.
Wow.
Right now. It's fucking crazy. It's got like so many of the most popular legit comedians live in Austin right now.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
I know that it's such a hub for just like creativity.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it'd be so amazing to visit, but I also know how hard it can be when you are trying to do so much, but like so many people are just doing the same fucking thing.
Yeah, that is a thing. But it's too big. Like that's the one thing that we have as a sucky mentality, and like because it's not a mentality, it's legit here in Syracuse. There are so many fucking people doing a lot of the same shit, but there's not a big enough pool of people that you have to fuel your passion, your creativity, whatever the case is. The benefit is it can be less expensive to do those passion things and those dreams here in a town like Syracuse than it would be in a place like Austin. To a certain extent, there are some things that are cheaper in Texas than there are here. But one of the nice things I will say about like being in just Texas in general, but especially in like Central Texas, which is Austin, you're literally in like the middle of the fucking country.
Yeah.
You get on a plane and you can be anywhere in the country in like 2 to 3 hours.
Which is pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah. You know, like if you want to go from
that.
Syracuse to LA, you're in fucking planes all day long.
Yeah.
You know, you're in Texas, you're in LA in 2 hours, you know.
Damn, dude. And having that, the like real ability to travel so easily to wherever it's just so attractive.
Yeah.
I love that. I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about like places to travel and places to just stay at for a little while. That is also the other problem with Austin is that I hear about how many people are moving out there, and it's like I can't like. That's one of the biggest reasons why I left Orlando, is because Orlando. I mean, they've had this problem since the fucking 60s of just people moving to Orlando.
Yeah, for sure.
Florida in general.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the retirement capital of the fucking world.
Yeah.
But no, like I had to dip because like to get on the highway, literally when I was in college, to get from my house to school which, you know, sometimes I did like an accelerated program. I would get out of school at like 10, 11 p.m. sometimes. When the roads are empty, you're there 15 minutes. As soon as it's just any normal time, it's a 45-minute fucking drive. And anytime you go on I-9, I mean, you know, I had friends who worked at Universal, or not fucking I-9, oh my gosh, just the interstate out there. You are in the car in standstill traffic no matter what.
Yeah.
And just like to be around that many people, and of course, I mean, LA was really no different. But
Yeah. Oh yeah.
man, it's intense.
Yeah. Yeah. Traffic in Austin could get bad, could get really bad back when I lived there, and then nowadays I couldn't imagine. But there's just so many companies that are moving there, and you know, it's
Companies that are moving to Austin?
Yeah, I mean, Elon Musk just announced like a couple of days ago that he's moving Tesla X and SpaceX headquarters are all going to Austin.
Oh fuck! Yeah. That is about to be the most concentrated city.
Yeah, but they're building so much there.
Word.
And Austin proper, like Austin, like there's Austin, but then there's so much that's like within 30 minutes around Austin that's huge. There's like Round Rock and Pflugerville and all this stuff that's like all around Austin. That's really big. But the thing in Texas is like when I lived there, I lived in this tiny town called Killeen, which has Fort Hood Army Base, biggest army base in the world. And I was about a 30, 45 minute drive from Austin, and I was a 2.5 to 3 hour drive up to Dallas. But the thing in Texas is people don't care about the drive. Like you would have people that would drive up to Dallas just to go to dinner for the night, and it's a 6 hour round trip. You know,
God damn, dude.
Because like the main highways, like the state highways out there, they're straight. You know, you don't turn a lot, and the speed limit out there is like 75, 80 miles an hour. So you just get on there and fucking go.
Yeah.
And you know, people just don't really think twice about that shit.
That is pretty wild. I think that's what like funny enough, as much as people love to complain about the traffic in LA, like when you're there, you understand that you're going to be in traffic for a while, so it doesn't feel like anything.
Right.
Like that's a certain power. When I went to the Hudson Valley, I didn't realize that it was similar. Not necessarily because of the traffic, just because like you're in the mountains.
Yeah.
Everything
Hudson Valley
is so far.
Yeah, and the Hudson Valley, there's nothing, even the roads, nothing's spread out. Everything's condensed.
Yes.
You know, down there. So, you know, you go anywhere and it can take some time, but it also just feels congested because there's no space. You know. Yeah, but like imagine, like I know people who like live in Clay who won't go to Fayetteville because it's too far.
Jesus.
You know?
Which I get, because when I was living in Central Square, you know, and I really started popping off with the deliveries. People would constantly ask, it's like, oh, like, are you know, I live in, you know, not even like Solvay, like, are you sure you can come? I was like,
right.
Yeah, dude, you're 25 minutes away.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah.
I'll drive.
Right.
Yeah, some people don't. They just don't want to move.
Yeah. I love this. I mean, have you ever been out to the food truck, like things they do on Wednesdays at like the Shopping Town Mall?
Oh my God. Or the, where is it on Wednesdays? Fucking Great Northern?
Yeah, Great Northern at Shopping Town.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, that one specifically, I think is one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
It's surprising that there's still so many fucking people that show up to it.
So many people are always there, and like the vibes are usually pretty good.
Yeah. It's just the same. I mean, I know we don't have. I mean, there are a lot of food trucks in Syracuse,
but it is the same.
It's the same shit. Nobody's doing anything crazy special on there.
I know.
You do have like Via Napoli was making a good pie. Toss and Fire does a good pie. And Bold Coast is Bold Coast and shit like that. But you know, for the most part, a lot of these trucks they're just doing frozen shit or you know whatever is the easiest thing.
Yeah.
Which you can't blame them. You know, not everybody's going to try and do this kind of stuff out there in a truck. especially here in Syracuse. One thing I think it infects all of our culture here in Syracuse and Central New York in general. But I interviewed Stephen Page, if you know, from the Bare Naked Ladies.
Oh.
He was on the podcast like last year, and I asked him like music. I think our music scene in Syracuse is dog shit. It's getting better.
Listen, as someone who literally like left Syracuse to like be part of a better music scene, I get it.
Yeah. I've always, my analogy has always been, like, I remember when I was in high school and listening to Dashboard Confessional, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna go at the tabs and go fucking play Dashboard. And me trying to play Dashboard Confessional in my bedroom at 16 is what a lot of the arts in Syracuse reminds me of. And I would say the same is true about our food scene. And and I asked Steven, like, about music. It was like, why is that? Why does our music scene suck? He was like, I don't know anything about our music scene in Syracuse. He said, I will say though, you have to get out. You have to travel. You have to go live other places in order to be influenced and experience things, to come back and be able to be creative. And
100%.
And I think that's an issue with our food scene.
Yeah, no, is that like people, they refuse to go anywhere, and that's why it's like a lot of these places they're either really successful or they really struggle. Like, I'm so happy to see someone like I don't know her name, but the woman who does what is it called, Oompa Lumpia or something.
Yeah,
that's like different, and people are interested, and like that's cool. And I want more of that. It's like me being someone who I'm really happy about how much I've fucking traveled, and like it's just. I love sharing all this shit. Like, I want to see more of it, and people just kind of want the same shit.
Yeah. Zell's Lumpias are, they're good. And I'll just leave it at that.
Fair.
I've had her other food that I'm like, dude, this is fucking awful.
Really?
But Zell is the reason why I started the Instagram account for Eat Local. When I started this 9 years ago as just social media as like a side hustle, somebody told me to go meet with Zell when she had her brick and mortar, and they were like, she needs help, you should go meet with her and see if you could help her. And there's the end of the movie, folks. I met with her, and here was her story. She had a great job, she loved to cook, her friends and family were like, you would crush it, you should follow your dream and open a restaurant, you would do so well, you'd be so happy. And she fucking fell for it and listened to him. And she opened a restaurant, and she knew how to cook, but that was it. She didn't know how to buy food, she didn't know how to advertise, she didn't know how to hire, she didn't know how to pick a location. When I met with her, I was like giving her social media advice on like what to do. And she was like, well, I just ran an ad in Clipper magazine. I'm like, that fucking sucks.
Yep.
I was like, well, when does it come out? Maybe there's a chance. She's like, it's been out for a month and I haven't seen anybody from it. And I've got like $1,000 in my bank account and I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I was like, here's the advice. Maybe it'll help, but probably not. I left that encounter and thought to myself, I wish I had a social media account where I could post right now and say, go check this place out and get 100 people to go there. And then like the next night I started Eat Local New York's Instagram account.
Wow.
And a couple months later, she was out of business, and obviously she's she's got the food truck and yada yada yada. But yeah,
man, no, and I get that. I just I definitely agree that it's stale. It's stale, and there needs to be a bit more of a just focus on people who are doing something new, people who want to experiment.
Yeah. Hermits is that. I think Hermits is that.
I think Hermits is that. Like, I really think he's doing such a good job of doing the shit that Syracuse people love. It's fucking burgers and a burrito and a fried chicken sandwich. But it's got flavor. It's got personality. It's
good.
It's good. And he uses his inspiration from his travels to do it. It's like we're all inspired by fucking Bourdain.
Yeah.
Why not really live up to that? I honestly think that's why me and him immediately kind of locked into each other.
Yeah.
Is because we're both like, wow, it's just new and exciting.
Right.
And again, it's just good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, there it is, everybody. We watched the movie Chef with a chef. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you later.